Despite Russia's presence in space exploration, Elon Musk seems unconcerned and instead focused on his goal to colonize Mars. But in this video we'll talk about Elon's latest take on Russia.
Welcome to Tesla Motors Pro. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video and hit the notification bell icon to get updated with Tesla, SpaceX, Starlink and everything about Elon Musk.
The Russian military tested an anti-satellite weapon that left debris in orbit during the second week in November. This test was conducted approximately 500 kilometers or 310 miles above the Earth in the event of a catastrophic collision with the International Space Station or ISS. Astronauts were warned to take shelter in their docked spacecraft. A Soviet satellite called Selena D-class that's been orbiting Earth since 1982 was destroyed by a missile.
As a response, Moscow's behavior was deemed dangerous and irresponsible by the U.S. government. Russia disputed the allegations and accused the United States of hypocrisy, pointing to the previous debris-generating anti-satellite weapons tests by countries such as India, China and the United States. Others, though, view the problem as much more complicated than just satellites exploding. After The Verge published on Twitter a statement by Russian President Vladimir Putin about artificial intelligence on September 4, 2017.
Putin said, "Whoever becomes the leader in this area will rule the world." So what's Elon Musk's take on Russia? He replied
the same day with these two words, confirming his previous statements. It begins. Musk added later that for many years he's warned about the dangers of AI-powered robots. He even predicted that artificial intelligence might cause a third world war in a recent ominous tweet. Additionally,
he predicted a third world war may be in the works owing to artificial intelligence. He said China, Russia, soon all countries with strong computer science competition for AI superiority at national level, most likely cause of WW3.
In my opinion, while this is taking place, SpaceX's Starlink program is being accused of posing a security threat to Russia, according to Dmitry Rogozin, director of Roscosmos. According to an interview with Gazeta.ru, Rogozin said,
"It's all history for the special forces to transfer from one continent to another specially trained people. Such technologies will be good, but this is not at all to open up the possibility for mankind to fly across the ocean in a matter of minutes."
Meanwhile, it took Elon Musk and his team of elite space experts years of scientific research and effort for them to finally announce that they will be the company that transports humans to Mars. This effort may be less feasible by the recent efforts of the Soviet Union to launch a nuclear spaceship. First, do you think that this effort will succeed?
I don't think there's a question that the old rivalry continues between Russia and the US in their quest to be the first to crew a human mission to Mars. As the first human crewed mission to the Moon, the Luna 2 spaceships landed on the Moon on the 13th of September 1959. The Soviet Union had reason to be proud. They probably want to keep going in the same direction. They want the first to land on Mars to be Russian. They publicly announced that they are fully committed to beating the United States and notably the billionaire tech entrepreneur Elon Musk at his own game, due to the rise in power of numerous American companies which have made significant progress in the space industry, including Blue Origin Rocket Lab and even SpaceX. The Russian authorities can no longer stay aloof and have
now why Russia is dedicated to beating the American companies in the journey to Mars and establishing a base on the Moon is still a mystery. In the aftermath of the fall of the Soviet Union, Russia is no longer a threat and has achieved very mild scientific achievements.
Although they threaten the United States, they have stepped into the spotlight again to win the race. It could be that they're simply nostalgic and don't wish to see the US beat them again, or then again they might be driving for financial benefits that come along with being the first nation to go to Mars, as it's a well-known fact that Mars is a place of high prestige and honor as well as a lot of resources. And then there's just the sense of national pride. Regardless of the reason, they're committed to making the journey to Mars and have laid out a detailed itinerary that details how and when they'll accomplish it. In the end, the question will be, will Elon Musk keep quietly waiting, letting Russia take the prize upon which he has built his company SpaceX? Considering Elon's character and determination to achieve his goals, no way to fully understand the conflict. It's important to consider that the rockets powered by nuclear power pose a serious threat to space travel agencies. It's indisputable that Russia would possess a powerful rocket capable of deep space exploration if they successfully build a nuclear-powered spaceship. Even though the craft is smaller and easier to maneuver in space, they'll also have the ability to withstand dark areas without sunlight and be highly reliable because they can last for a longer period regarding the Zeus reactor from Russia. About 10 to 12 years of operation are expected. In addition, it'll be able to reach more planets in a shorter amount of time. And here's an interesting fact: in contrast to popular belief, nuclear energy is one of the cleanest forms of energy due to its lack of greenhouse gas emissions. The idea of nuclear has earned a bad reputation over the years because of some catastrophic accidents. Elon Musk himself did concede to this fact in an interview, which he also stated that nuclear power plants today may be safely designed as long as they involve fission rather than fusion. The conventional means of constructing atomic reactors is through nuclear fission. A neutron strikes the nucleus and breaks it into small pieces, which is what releases the energy, but it has some significant flaws. For instance, very few fuels can withstand extremely high temperatures in reactors, and they're unreliable. In the case of enriched uranium, it's been forbidden by the United States as a space fuel due to its instability. This is because other materials like other nuclear fuels and non-nuclear fuel sources are also valuable for space travel. So what plans does Russia have to surpass SpaceX's achievements following the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991? The first move they took was the establishment of an agency. So what's this agency all about? It's called Roscosmos in Russia, and it's the equivalent of NASA in the United States. Roscosmos recently announced plans to send a nuclear-powered space tug to the International Space Station. Zeus, a space beast that is an uncrewed transport and energy module, would travel up to Jupiter in 2030 for 50 months. The launch of Roscosmos was preceded by the announcement of a partnership with a private design firm called Arsenal Design Bureau that would design a nuclear-powered space tug named Nucleon. The tug has a budget of $56.7 million and is supposed to be completed and delivered before July 2024. The space tug can weigh up to 22 tons and can be powered by a nuclear reactor that is 500 kilowatts in power. Alexei Blichenko, executive director for science and long-term programs, noted that the Russian Academy of Sciences has been working closely with the agency, and as the flight's payloads are being calculated, a Russian orbital space station is soon to be launched. By the end of this year, they'll have a secured spot under the south pole of the moon. It's important to book a venue in which to deploy several types of electronic equipment for studying outer space, such as telescopes to monitor asteroids that threaten the planet and to construct a space-themed testing ground. Blichenko spoke in detail about the mission, explaining that the tug will fly to the moon, then release a spacecraft that will fly to Venus. Afterward, it'll launch another ship that will make the long journey to Jupiter with the assistance of Venus's gravity. In light of all this, you might ask, how come the U.S. and more not used nuclear rockets in the past? Truth be told, this isn't the first time nuclear-powered spaceships have been proposed. At the time, however, the tests were cancelled because it was veering off course and crashing into the ocean. Throughout history, most spacecraft have relied on few sources of electricity, including the sun, batteries and radioisotopes. With this Juno spacecraft, which uses solar panels to charge its batteries, it's an example of a solar-powered spacecraft. Even so, the spaceship started developing problems once it got farther from the sun. To power a hydrogen probe, lithium batteries are used, however they're only able to sustain the probe for a brief period. NASA's twin Voyager and the Titan both operate with radioisotopes, but it's not quite as effective as bringing a nuclear reactor with it. On the other hand, SpaceX uses mostly methane and oxygen to propel its rockets into space. This began in 2017 when the company moved away from its traditional strategy of using kerosene and they started using hydrogen. SpaceX has announced that their future rocket fuel will consist of methane within the next few years. They expect to be able to recharge rockets in space with their technology. There's no doubt that SpaceX's success seems so spontaneous, making it easy to believe that soon they'll be able to travel anywhere in the universe. Nevertheless, NASA has begun working on nuclear-powered rockets since the rumor that Russia is developing them had began spreading in 2009. Anthony Calamino, nuclear technology portfolio lead at NASA, says a nuclear plant will be constructed in deep space, specifically on the moon, in November. He said that after proving the technology through demonstrations, larger systems could be deployed or multiple units could be put together for long-term space missions to the moon and eventually to Mars. He added that the development of a fission surface power system would allow humans to establish outposts and utilize NC2 resources, since large amounts of electricity could be produced on the surface of Earth. So with all this considered,
I guess all we can do now is watch and wait as the tension between these two countries pushes us further and further into space exploration. A win for Russia in this race would be pretty impressive. However, the optimism is waning globally due to the history of nuclear power in comparison to U.S. private companies. The Russian space program is far behind in terms of the development of reusable rockets. Despite the competition, it's unlikely that Russia will catch up anytime soon. Despite the bleak outlook for Russia, Elon Musk has recently announced that he plans to launch a campaign to explore deep space by 2023.
So how do you think Musk responded to Putin's claim that the person who leads I will rule the world? With his two-word reply, he appears pretty confident. Will he be the one to rule the world and be the first to colonize Mars? That's all for this video about Elon Musk's SpaceX, and thank you for watching. If you'd like to receive updates about him, make sure you click the subscribe and bell icon.